Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a twin flame channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the new moon in Sagittarius for light workers and the entirety of the Love Collective here, occurring on November 23rd, 2022 at 5:57 p.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a local time zone converter for when this time is going to be most active for you. This energy comes in about a week before, tends to last about a week after. This is an exciting new moon. Finally, some of the heaviness of Scorpio season is about to break, thank goodness. And we're going to move into an energy of resurrection, of truth, of light as we head into the close of 2022. Before we get into this new moon's lunar update information, I want to say the time has finally come. Many of you have wanted to know if I teach, you want to know what planets I use for the divine counterparts when I do the twin flame part of the reading. You've asked me astrological questions, dropping your astrology in the comment section, and I can't read for you that way. But what I will certainly say is Star School is now open, and this is your opportunity to learn astrology with me. We start on Monday, November 21st. The opportunity to enroll will be open throughout this weekend and into the early part of next week. So it's okay. Classes are pre-recorded. You won't miss anything. If you need to get your seat sometime on Monday or just after, you'll still be able to listen to class 1. And this is your opportunity to do all kinds of fun astrology things with me and use the stars to make sense of your life, unlock patterns, your personal patterns for success in love and relationships, which is key if you're ready to do something new in love and relationship. Discover your best career path and times for money. And you want to know why you do what you do or why someone else does what they do. Star School is going to help you make sense of all of it. And this is your chance to enroll. The last time I offered live Star School with Q&A portions where we could chat and you could ask questions about the material was 2020. So it's not on schedule right now for 2023. If this is what you wanted to do, you want to know how I read the stars and make more sense of your own life, now's the time to register. You do get lifetime access for Star School at this time, but I do believe this will be the last time I offer lifetime access. Going forward, when I offer it again, we'll be switching over to kind of a monthly or quarterly enrollment program. And if you'd like to maintain access to the material, you would need to pay again or get a subscription for the program. There's 4 ways to work with me in Star School. This year, I am offering Star School 101, 201, and 301. 101 is Astro Basics, and I am pumped about that because in 101, if you're on a budget, you can't spend a lot of money right now, all good. I've got you covered in 101 only. It comes with a workbook and 4 classes that will help you better understand not only yourself, but if you use that workbook to fill in the blanks on family members or loved ones, if you're trying to understand and better connect, get how they communicate, 101 is more than enough. It is all you need to be able to understand the people in your life. I highly recommend you just do 101. If you're on a budget, you can't get the whole shebang. It's yours for the lifetime. So even if you can't listen right now, you can pick it up at any point in 2023 or whenever you're ready. And you'll be able to get the information you need to understand your chart, the chart of someone else, why they communicate the way they do, how to build better connection, how to have more compassion. That's all in Astro Basics 101. But if you want to take it a step further, you want to understand timing, seasons and connection. You want to understand seasons of growth, separation, union, and be able to predict those for yourself. then 201 is what you need. And that's astrology for twin flames. You do not have to be a twin flame. You just need to be someone who's been deeply activated by love to be able to get the benefit out of that course. You could have a karmic, a soulmate, an ascension partner, a high level soulmate, whatever label you put on it. If you've been resonating with the way that I read here on the YouTube channel, and you're ready to understand seasons and timing and blocks and how to work with them in connection, 201 is what you want. And there are many of you who have told me, I'm really kind of done with this. I'm ready to really focus on me. 301 is for you, and that's my North Node Mastery program. We're going to talk all about lessons, your lifelong lessons, seasons of growth, how to know when major people are coming or going or major events are unfolding in your life, and what the lesson is in all of those. So many people I've worked with around the North Node have said, oh my God, my family finally makes sense to me now. My mom and dad finally make sense to me now. 301 is the program for you if you're focused on union with self. You can get all of them in the Star School Scholar package if you decide to go that route. There's a link for that below this video. The total price for all of them is 465 USD. I've added in some bonuses for free for the first 100 people who register for this scholar package here. That then makes the program about $600, but I'm giving it to you instead for 369 USD. All you have to do is click the link below this video, hit learn more, and you'll find the dates for Star School, what you get when you enroll, how to enroll. All of that is listed when you click learn more. But if you really just want to do the basics, you want to understand yourself, your twin, and get deeper into how do I make myself available for love and walk the highest path for myself in this lifetime, all you really need is Star School 101, and that's 144 USD. Link for that is below this video. Lifetime access. This is the last time I'm offering lifetime access on Star School. So if you've been wanting to get a reading with me but can't afford it, Star School 101 is the best place for you to go, because you'll be able to do what I do for yourself and open the whole wide world of astrology for yourself in connection and individually. Got a couple of other packages. You can get the Union package, which includes 101 and 201. You can also get the Life Purpose package, which is North Node Mastery and at Astro Basics. Links for all of this is below this video, but definitely enroll soon, because we're about to close up enrollment and we certainly start on Monday. And like I said, this is the last time I'm offering lifetime access for this program. So I hope to see you there. I'm really looking forward to working with you. Let's talk about the energy of this new moon in Sagittarius, where we're all doing a new thing. It's very exciting. We've got moon conjunct, here we go, sun and Venus here in the sign of Sagittarius. And so Venus brings in a love aspect, a money aspect, an attraction and chemistry aspect. We've got a trine to Lilith and Palace here. It's loose, but it's there. Nevertheless, from the new moon, Lilith wants to do things in her way. She's very self-focused. Self-protection is Palace, both sitting in the very emotional water sign of Cancer. We've got a trine to Jupiter here. Jupiter in Pisces is expanding spiritual connection and deepening spiritual connection. And we've got a square to Vesta, which is calling into question all of our commitments, what we're committed to, what we've been committed to, what we'd like to commit to more. And when I put all of this together, this is a highly charged, very lucky in love because of the Jupiter-Venus trine, romantic energy, or a very lucky in money, financial prospect energy. There's also a lot of truth in this energy about love and money as well, and where our alliances live in both of those areas, especially because, and the reason why is because Sagittarius is the sign of truth. of all of this, all of the signs deal with one in particular theme, but the core theme for Sagittarius is what is the truth? And do we have the freedom to follow the truth, to live our truth? And how do we do that? Truth of who we are, truth of what we believe, all of that. And so, because this energy is bringing forward a love and a money energy, so this is also tied to work for a lot of people, and we're focused on truth, but there's this huge self-protective energy here. And there's also an energy of, well, do I stay or do I go with the Vesta square? Am I in it or am I not in it? This is giving us all the opportunity to have a good look at the difference between choosing something versus being afraid to lose something, and choosing it out of fear versus choosing it out of desire. Choosing something because we want it, because it's where our heart is aligned, because we want to move toward it, is not the same as choosing something because we're simply afraid to lose it. We're simply afraid to be without it. We don't believe in our power enough to be able to have something as good or better than it. So this really this energy coming out of the Scorpio energy. We had a huge stellium in Scorpio the last several weeks. It would have had emotions run high, would have brought in a lot of bright lights, a lot of hard truths, a lot of opportunity for us to confront the shadow side of Scorpio, which would be manipulation, control, fear of loss, and our power in those circumstances. This energy now brings us into Sagittarius, which wants to aim high, go for the outcome, go for the gold, communicate with clarity, make decisions, and stand in truth based on everything we've just confronted. It is a bit of a resurrection energy, as Scorpio represents the sign of death, completion, and endings, transformation. Now we come out the other side in the sign of rebirth and truth, the sign of aiming high and moving toward our desired outcomes. So it's important to understand that the differences, the nuances, and that kind of framework I just provided. Quitting a job because it feels like there's no pathway open, or quitting, a path of study and school or academics because we feel like the doors are shut around it, is not the same thing as quitting it because we just don't want it. It doesn't feel aligned. It's not fun, or maybe fun isn't the right word, but it's not where we see ourselves. One is based on the future and based on what we want and the truth of who we are. The other one is based on fear. Well, what if I fail? What if it stays difficult? What if it's hard for longer than this? One is about being out of tools and simply needing to be creative about how we go forward. The other one is based on really wanting, really wanting to be elsewhere because we don't want to be where it is. It's not aligned. And so even if I had, one is like, even if I had the tools, I still don't want this. The other one is like, well, if I had the tools, I would stick with it. Then the answer is go get the tools if that's the case. And so, having chocolate cake because you love chocolate cake versus having chocolate cake because it's the only cake around, there's a big difference in these things, right? It's okay. It's okay. And I want to encourage all of us. I mean, this energy has come from my neck too. Like I've been I am not exempt from these energies. It's okay to have the discipline and discernment to just not have cake until what we actually want becomes clear or arrives, or until we get the tools to proceed. It's okay to just wait, to be still, to not have to act. Okay. We are strong creator beings incarnate. And it's important to remember that, because this moment is a moment of truth where we really find out what we're made of. Do we cave under this pressure that the Scorpio season has presented to us, where we got confronted with some of our fears, some of our attachments. The last full moon 2 weeks ago dealt with a lot of attachment energy. Do we cave to those? Do we cave to the shadow side of Taurus, which is kind of the lust, the gluttony, the fear of loss? I'm just staying the same for the sake of not rocking the boat, even though the boat has a hole in it. Do we cave to that? Or are we strong and resilient and creative in rocking out and finding what's going to be the best path forward to us? One of the themes that I have seen show up in this energy, that especially because Venus is involved, and so too is Juno. Juno and Venus are square. Venus is what we're attracted to. Juno is what we can commit to. Square brings out tension between the two. They're not harmoniously aligned. They're pulling us in different directions a little bit here. One of the themes that I've seen really show up in this energy that seems important to talk about and acknowledge, because relationships have been such a heavy theme. Venus appeared as a star player in the solar eclipse on October 28th, in the lunar eclipse on November 8th. Now here she is again in the new moon in Sagittarius, where there's a lot of relationship energy that is up for examination during this period of time. Staying in a marriage or in a relationship for shelter, simply because, there's nothing else to do. There's no one else around. Where would I go? What would I do? Could I really even have it better than this? Doubtful. I don't know. Staying in a marriage out of fear is the exact same thing as getting revenge married, also out of fear. So some of you are unfamiliar with that term, but it's something I've seen people do, where the last thing that they were in didn't work out. They left the last thing with regret, shame, guilt, either because of how they acted or because of how they were treated. And instead of doing the proper work to be still and heal those wounds, deal with it, that person will then take that energy and then turn around and just force the next thing to work. And I've seen a lot of people go into miserable marriages out of needing to have something to prove to their ego. See, I'm not so bad. This person chooses me. Or something to prove to the other person. Too bad you messed up, because now look where I'm at. Ha ha, I'm with someone and you're alone. Revenge marriage and shelter marriage are the exact same things. And this energy, depending upon how you have dealt with the confrontations of the Scorpio season, which would have brought up all of our shame, all of our fear, all of our guilt, all of our regret. Scorpio deals with our shadows, the things we would rather not see, because it's in integrating that and confronting it. Stop, turn, and face it. It's in doing that we actually get the light side of Scorpio, which is power. We get to know who we really are, what we are truly made of. And having come through this energy, much of what we would have dealt with was some of our shadows in the world of love, given how strongly featured Venus was in the last two lunations and now this one. And so it's important, especially because there's new beginning energy here in love. All of the rest of this year, going into next year, it's important to remember that there's a big difference between having chocolate cake because you love chocolate cake and eating chocolate cake because it's the only cake around. Make sure you like chocolate cake, yeah? Because if it's not if you prefer pie, but chocolate cake is the only cake around, trust me, pie will come, but then you'll be wrapped up in a chocolate cake mess. And then because you created momentum around egoic preservation, then you're really going to have a lot of undoing to do and even more to confront when it comes to dealing with this when these chickens come home to roost, and they will. Life always comes back 360. It always gives us the chance to be whole again. But kicking the can down the road on confronting the painful things only makes that become an avalanche or snowball later. Okay. All right. So that's the thing that I've been saying quite privately to friends when they have reached out to me during this season. Like, what the F is going on? Why is this energy so wild? Why are people wilding out in my family, in my friend circle, at work? Why are people projecting so much? Because there's been a lot of that. And I'm going to come and talk about why that's more of why that's been as we get into some of the other energies. It's because this season has been a season of bright lights and hard truths, inescapable realities. And what we're integrating, what we're doing for those of us who walk in love and walk in light, what we're doing here is we're being confronted with our mastery. Do we really believe in our smallness, or do we believe in our power? And life is benevolent enough, kind enough. God is generous enough to let us choose, to support us whichever way we go. But it doesn't mean the laws of life will not deal with us in whatever circumstance we create. Okay? So there's a lot of truthiness in this. And as we move into Sagittarius season, thank goodness now we have 3 major planetary energies in Sag. We've got this new moon, so we've got moon and sun, we've got Venus, we've got Mercury. This is consciousness. This is what we're attracted to. This is our essence, and this is our needs and emotional reality. As we move into this Sagittarius season and the Scorpio energy breaks, the question is, what did you learn? Did we learn anything? It's going to be really easy, as I said, to project all of the pain of the last several weeks onto others and just pretend that the discomfort of that is all of other people's fault. And we're just doing what we have to do because of what they're doing. When in actuality, all of this, even prior to the confrontational energy of Scorpio season, all of this has been a co-creation. All of this has been something we participated in getting to be the way that it is. Your addiction, it was a co-creation. Having a trauma bond with your ex, that was a co-creation. The marriage that's not working right now, or the relationship where both people are emotionally checked out, that's a co-creation. The job where you're completely dissatisfied, but you feel financially trapped and chained to, a co-creation. The energy of the last 2 eclipses have really brought home to roost that we cannot abdicate our responsibility and authority as divine beings incarnate around what we have chosen and allowed to exist and persist in our world. And now that we have all this energy manifesting in the sign of truth, could we just turn and run? Could we escape? Yeah. We don't, that now that the boot is off of our neck, we can all breathe a sigh of relief. But have we changed? Are we willing to change? Are we willing to do the work to have a different experience? That's going to be very personal for each of us. And like I said, I'm not exempt. This energy came from my neck. So, and this is especially true, right? Because here we have Chiron speaking to Venus and Mercury. This Chiron in trine to Venus and Mercury brings the influence of Chiron energy directly to our consciousness and what we're attracted to and drawn to. Chiron energy is all about our wounds and our wounding. And that energy flow of woundedness is flowing right into our consciousness and communication patterns, what we're drawn to around money and love at this time. It's just flowing right into it, like, hi, let's just influence these. There's a gift here in this Because with Chiron, we do get the opportunity to transmute. We can get into the leadership of Chiron, because Chiron provides a lot of leadership energy, or we could get into stay in the woundedness energy and just take the path of least resistance and call it fate, when really it's just fear. It's fear that we don't have what it takes to take the path of the desire of our heart. So the question really is, all right, so who are you in the face of being confronted with the results of your co-creation that you don't like, that you've been pressured to change? And I've spoken about this in the lunations up until this point, that there has been a real pressure to change, and that pressure is trying to help us become diamonds. In the last year and a half, there's been a real pressure to change in at least one area of life. So whatever truth came up in the shadow during the Scorpio season, now is our opportunity with all of this energy in fire. Fire signs are about action and spirituality. Now is the opportunity to break free, so we don't accidentally, on purpose, repeat a cycle. And there you have it. There you have it. This is further emphasized by a T-square that we have going on here. That's going to lock and shift into place as the Mars retrograde slides back to the early degrees of Gemini. It's going to oppose this Venus and this Mercury. And we've got a square here to Juno for both of them. And T-squares create aspects of tension that have us feeling like we're pulled in different directions. And mutable T-squares, we've got a lot of mutable energy. We were dealing with a lot of fixed energy, that kind of energy of being stuck. Now it's going to open up and feel like we have choices, and we do. The stuck energy was being stuck to really being present with what we've created up until now. Now the choice energy has come in to say, now that you see this was a co-creation, what do you choose to do? You want more of the same, or you want to do a new thing? You can have what you want. It's a menu, order. Mutable energy is about change. Mutable energy is about moving from one season to the next. When we have T-squares, though, in the chart, it activates 3 of the 4 modes. And so we've got Pisces activated, Gemini activated by the Mars retrograde and the Juno up there in Pisces. We've got Sagittarius activated by Mercury and Venus. The one place that's not activated is going to be the early stages of Virgo. Virgo is not activated. So in order to balance the tension in the energy, if we occupy, as those of us having the divine spark in us, if we occupy Virgoan energy, we're going to find our solution. And that solution is to bring forth discernment. It's to bring forth the energy of decision making. It's to bring forth the energy of dedication and service to our own light and the light of the highest good of all those involved. Is it really of the highest good for you to hate the job you're in, but to stay in it when there's somebody who actually loves that role, loves being able to do that thing, and they're not able to access it because you're too afraid of your own power to go create that money elsewhere? Is that really of the highest good for all involved? Probably not. Is it really of the highest good? Is it in service of all involved for you to stay in that relationship knowing you're not in love with that person, to hold on to it because you're just too afraid of what if something better doesn't come? Now they're blocked in love. They can't have someone who really loves them, and you can't have love that you want. Is that really for the highest good? I'm telling you, this energy is confronting. It's going to be really important that we have the faith in our capacity as divine creator beings incarnate that we have the ability to have whatever God has placed in our heart as our desire. We only need to get in agreement that we were created to be able to have it, and we can have it but we have to make the appropriate choices at this time. And this Mars retrograde season in Gemini is all about choice. Gemini shows where there are two instead of one. Gemini shows that there are two paths unfolding in front of us at this time. Which fork in the road are you going to take? You're going to take the path of least resistance. It's going to be very easy to roll down that path right now, but that does not mean it's the best path for us. And so there's, especially again, like I said, with this Juno squaring the Venus part of it, there's a divine design here at play that's inviting us through open doors. Or we could have the conversation about fear letting us fold with this Mars retrograde in the mix. Will fear make us fold, or are we willing to choose the new path? Even if we don't know how to succeed on it yet, are we willing to just vote? I choose the new path, and whatever tools come my way on that path, I make decisions in that direction, because I believe whatever's in that direction is going to be better than the path of least resistance and fear for me. Taking the easy way out instead of really doing the work in ourselves to have a better job, a better career path, a better relationship. It's plausible at this time. There's an opportunity to miss the choice of power and creativity here, and instead stand for our smallness in this. There's the smallness is just going to be the path of least resistance. It's the path of doing nothing, allowing everything to stay the same. Since last year, Uranus, where is that? Our friend Uranus over here in Taurus has been squaring Saturn. It's been asking us to change. It's been asking us to do a new thing. Uranus is the hand of the divine. It wants to shift and shake up and quantum leap us forward in the third dimension. It's an earth sign Taurus. Change the structure of our lives. Saturn wants us to come into integrity and wholeness. It's in the sign of the new. Come into integrity with the new and upgraded version of yourself in your life. They've been in an aspect of tension saying something's got to give, and that's us. We have to change to do some things to get some things we've never had. We need to be willing to do some things we've never done. And so this is helping us all find our way to higher timelines. Now, I spoke about this. I did a live broadcast, I believe it was yesterday or the day prior, about the 2022 and 2023 energy update. And I explained why there's been this pressure to transform and how to jump timelines at this time. So if you're a little like, yeah, I have felt this pressure, feels like everything closing in on me, I don't know what to do with it, but other than just wait it out, you can do something else with it. You don't have to just wait it out. There is an action you can take. And I explained the entirety of how this energy works and what to do with it in that update. So I strongly recommend you have a listen. Because if you've been wanting to move down a new path, but you're just unsure how to get there, that particular energy update is going to open the doorway for you to understand, what do you do? How do you work with it? And for those of you who are really called, Star School 101 in particular will help you understand what this season is asking you personally to change, and how to work with your own energy in the light instead of in the shadow. We go into light and shadow of every sign, every house, every planet, so that you can stop getting the worst of things in your life and having things be difficult, doing things the hard way, like looking at UK moon the way I used to always do. And you can start getting a bit more ease in your life, working with life instead of having life work against you. Okay. This will give you a clearer path to help you stand in your light and in your leadership at this time. So link to Star School 101 is below this video. Other energies we have going on at this time is, like I said, this Mercury and Chiron trine. It's bringing forth it's bringing forth an opportunity to step into our leadership, because the light side of Chiron is leadership, it's teaching. And Mercury sits here in the sign of truth, and he's finally direct at this period of time. This is a beautiful opportunity. Sagittarius is also the sign of the teacher, to get help, get support, to heal, find a teacher, a guide, an instructor to learn from. Because our wounds are in the mix here a little bit. There's an opportunity to find, because Chiron is known as the teacher, there's an opportunity to find someone to help us overcome this wounding, who may have been where you want to go and can guide you down the path and the steps you need to take. Therapy is going to be great right now for a lot of you. That might be the thing that you need to do that you've never done before to get a result you've never had before. That might be an amazing first step, is just finding someone to talk to. All right. And we've also got this Mars square Neptune. And here's Mars retrograde, and here's Neptune retrograde. Both of them in mutable signs. Mutable signs are known for going 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, net effect forward movement. However, it's not without some confusion in the process. With both Mars retrograde, Mars being our action and ambition maker, Neptune being our connection to spirituality and our higher self, our sense of connection to the divine. With both of these in retrograde motion and in an aspect of tension, they don't tend to bring out the best in one another. They tend instead to bring out a lot of confusion in our actions and our intentions. This is a moment in time as well where there could be a lot of behavioral coping mechanisms that can come out, addictions, substance use kind of things, behavioral addictions as well can come up with this energy. If you're feeling very pressured by it without an outlet. So it'll be really important to get the light of this, to find our way into compassion, self-compassion for what we've been through, even if the co-creation is something we felt complete victim to up until now. Having some self-compassion that we came into that co-creation because we were wounded ourselves and we're now trying to heal. Compassion for other people as well, and the wounds that they have been through that have facilitated their participation in our wounding. Having compassion at this time will go a long way in keeping us off the path of least resistance and shadow. For those of us who needs to study compassion at this time, I really love the work of Kristen Neff. Kristen Neff is a mindfulness-based compassion teacher. Again, teaching is indicated, being a student is indicated in this energy, finding someone who can be a guide to you. You don't know how to be kind to yourself, or if people keep telling you you need to love yourself and you're like, but I am, what are you talking about? Take a look at Kristen Neff's work. She's got a great TED Talk on self-compassion and the behavior of it, the language of it, how it looks and sounds, and it can shift a lot for all of us. We've also got this Mars retrograde, speaking harmoniously to Saturn direct. Hooray, Saturn's finally direct. Saturn is our boundary maker, and Mars retrograde is our reflection tool. Okay. This is an opportunity for us to review our work, check our steps. It's also a chance for us to really gird our loins and mentally check in with ourselves. How do we get ready for what's next? What do I need to put boundaries around so I can protect it in terms of a resource? Is it my time? Is it my energy? Is it my mental space? Is it my money? Is it my home? What do I need to put boundaries around in order to be ready for what's next? And the Mars piece here is about what actions do I need to take so that I can do the next thing. Do I need to get a teacher? Again, education is emphasized with Gemini as well. Both Gemini and Sagittarius are our educational signs of the zodiac. Do I need to get a mentor, a teacher? Do I need to get a therapist? Do I need to talk to someone or a coach? What do I need to do to be able to get off the timeline of least resistance and fear and get on the timeline? What action do I need to take? Mars's action to get on the timeline of my heart's desire and the truth of who I really am. Because Saturn wants to create integrity and wholeness for us. Mars, on the other hand, really wants us to get into the process of taking action steps to explore that integrity and wholeness. So it's up to us to figure out what are the right steps and what do we need to create boundaries around to protect our work. We've got an energy here of Lilith and Palace opposing Pluto. So I spoke a little bit about Pluto earlier. Pluto is our power, but it's the way we access it is by confronting the things that scare us, knowing that we are strong enough to do so. Yeah. With Lilith and Palace here and the super emotional water sign Cancer, and Pluto up here inside of Capricorn, that Capricorn energy being the energy of the structure of our lives. This aspect of tension, when they oppose one another, can bring out the shadow of each other as opposed to the light. So we can see some emotions being repressed, a lot of defensiveness. This is where the projection energy comes in, as well as the Mars retrograde energy. There could be a lot of finger pointing in this energy. Well, I only did because they did, and it's all their fault. And if they would just fill in the blank, then I would be able to X, Y, and Z. Don't give in to victim consciousness. You're better than that. You really are. It's not all their fault. All of this has been a co-creation the whole time. And there's this power energy of Pluto and what we've just come out of in the season of bright lights and hard truths is the recognition of how we have participated in anything that we have experienced that we are now ready to change. And it's giving us and imbuing us with the emotional power and fortitude to be able to change it. It's big, big, big mirror energy, especially with this Lilith and Palace. Palace is self-protection and it's emotional protection inside of Cancer. Lilith is really being only able to see things from our own perspective, and there's purpose in that. Sometimes we can get so lost in either helping other people or thinking that other people know more or know better than us about us, that we can forget our own lived experience. There can be a bit of enmeshment going on that can lend itself to that victim consciousness, right? With these two hanging out inside of Cancer, it's anchoring us to our own emotional reality, so we cannot hide or run from the truth of how we feel anymore. And for those who really struggle with enmeshment and lack of boundaries and an inability to stand up for ourselves in relationship or connection, having us pressed up against our emotions so richly at this time is actually helpful because it keeps us from getting lost in someone else's emotional sauce. It keeps us being clear about our needs and who we are and where we're at and where we end and another person begins, so that we can actually take the steps to get off the path of least resistance and get on the path of our heart's desire. Okay. Now, especially with this Jupiter energy, trine Palace and Lilith and sextile Pluto, and that Jupiter is retrograde in Pisces, there can, for some people, for the uninitiated on the path of love, you might find that some of the people around you have an inability to maintain emotional control. that you can be finding around you in your family, in your work world, mini meltdowns, small meltdowns with kids, with parents, or even privately, because Jupiter expands whatever he touches. And right now, he's going to expand our deep emotional situations for us so we can see it. Again, bright lights, hard truths. What's the truth of how you really feel about certain things? So, privately in meditation or prayer, or, you step into the bathroom at work because you're just overcome by emotion. There can be some power struggles in this for people with Pluto in the mix, especially in family times. Pluto's opposite the sign of family right now. The advice given here is to stay present with your own emotional truth and reality. Stay honest about your own co-creation and the truth of your own power. That's Pluto in the circumstance. Take time outs when you need to. You don't have to be anyone's emotional punching bag, but also take time outs when you need to, because making someone else your emotional punching bag isn't going to serve either, right? Give people the space to be in their emotional reality, and you take the space to be in yours. Our emotions are a barometer, a fact checker of what we're actually believing and what we actually desire. And so, where emotions may be running high during this period of time is our opportunity to check in with ourselves so that we can right our ship, correct our rudder, so that we're aiming in the correct direction for us. We're aiming true. And it's no accident, because Sagittarius, where this new moon sit, you can see the symbol for Sag is the arrow, the archer. It's about aiming true. And so we're getting, like I said, a lot of truthiness in this energy that's happening for our benefit so that we can jump onto these higher timelines. But it's about being willing to admit these truths to ourselves and giving ourselves the permission, the freedom. That's the other thing Sagittarius represents, to follow our truth, follow our highest ideals, follow our goals instead of yielding to our fears. Okay. So it's yummy energy. I really love it. We have a lot of choices in front of us, especially with this Mars retrograde in Gemini. The choices are really about which path are you going to take. Gemini's exploration, it's curiosity. There's two there. Mars is action. So it's about getting curious in action about which path is going to be right for us. And hopefully the guidance I've shared in this lunar update has helped you understand what you're seeing and how to make sense of the choices in front of you, so that you can really stand in that path of greater love and greater leadership here on Earth. Okay. Star School is open. I always recommend, especially if you're on a budget, start with Star School 101. Just do that. You're going to get a ton out of it in terms of interpreting and understanding this energy for yourself and for a loved one. That workbook goes a long way when you complete it for your person in helping you understand this energy and how to work with it. It's $144 USD. The link is below this video. We start on Monday, but you won't miss anything. Doors close on Friday, November 26th, or 25th. So I strongly recommend you do not wait, that you get in now. All classes are pre-recorded. Office hours are live. And I would just love to work with you and give you the opportunity to learn the stars and be empowered by them yourself. So, as I have been doing, I've been offering a first look at the next lunation. So I'm going to do that now. We're going to jump into the full moon in Gemini, which is a couple weeks away. I have not looked at this yet. You're going to get my first impression of this, what's coming up in the energies, so that you can just see how this flows into the next step. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull that energy up now. Awesome. So I have got the full moon chart up so that you can check it out with me. It takes place on December 7th, at 11:07 p.m. if you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States. And there is our sun out here in Sag with Venus. And here's our moon sitting. Ooh, she sits with Mars, with the Mars retrograde. So the Mars retrograde is going to be a key factor. This little planet here is the Earth. Earth represents manifestation energy and the capacity to create whatever we want. It's the energy of free will as opposed to the energy of compulsion. Earth is almost kind of like if you play video games, like a free power up. It amplifies energy and power that it touches. And in touching the full moon and the Mars retrograde in Gemini, I'm really fascinated because I think this is going to amplify the capacity for all of us to make the choices we need to get on new timelines. Speaking to this full moon in Gemini as well, we also have Juno. She's in a direct square. This is an aspect of tension and partnership. It looks like this is going to be a period of time where people who need to have conversations around partnership can iron stuff out, can have conversations that they've not had before, reveal truths they've not revealed before, especially with this Mercury inside of Capricorn, the sign of structure. It looks like communication comes into Earth sign Capricorn. Communication comes into the third dimension. I also am noticing here that this full moon is sextile Chiron. So Chiron is in play at a 60-degree-ish angle, bringing forward an energy of healing our wounds, stepping into leadership. If in fact we are willing to do the work around that, it's not going to be an overnight healing. It's going to be a work for it healing. And we've got Jupiter finally direct by the time we get to this full moon in Gemini. So for those of you who are Sag or Pisces, who have been a bit low energy since the summertime with Jupiter in retrograde, your ruling planet, you're going to start to feel your energy pick speed back up here. Interesting energies. Just checking to see what else is going on. Where is Saturn? Saturn's direct by this time as well. So that's also very constructive. Saturn is influencing this full moon positively. So I see there's some boundary stuff going on here, which is fantastic. Good boundaries happening all the way around. It looks like they're getting expressed and acted on congruently, where words and actions are lining up to say and mean the same thing. So it's going to allow us all the capacity to walk our talk, which is going to be fantastic during this period of time, and really line ourselves up with our highest path. So overall, the full moon in Gemini, I'm really liking it. I'm liking the way it's giving us accelerant. It's like an accelerating energy of walking onto the highest timeline for us as we move into 2023. So good stuff all the way around. I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to share this lunar update with you. I think we have a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of decisions in the next few weeks that it looks like people are going to need to make with the Mars retrograde in Gemini and all this energy passing through Sagittarius. Lots of communication that's going to flow back and forth. The Mars will stop being square to Neptune, which will make what actions we need to take a little bit clearer, not all the way, but a little bit. And it'll allow us all to have, kind of greater clarity about areas of life that may have been confusing since the tail end of the year. So, or since about the summer or early fall, I would say. So I like this energy. I'm looking forward to experiencing it. I hope you guys are too. Thanks so much for every like, subscribe, share, and comment. If you are open to sharing in the comments below, I would be super curious. What have the bright lights and hard truths revealed to you during the new moon in Sagittarius and the last full moon in Taurus, the last several lunar updates? It's been an interesting time for all of us, including me. And just know that my love and the love of God's stars are with you always. You are not alone, and you are powerful. You are powerful enough to create the life you want to live. Thanks so much. Take great care, and bye for now.